Hi everybody. Day number 4. It sounds like it's been forever. Day number 4 since yeshiva has closed, since yeshivos have closed. Difficult times, particularly for the mothers, the nashim, tzidkanias of Klal Yisrael, who have their own jobs, out of the house, in the house, with kids running around now. Not easy. We too at yeshiva are trying to sympathize and work. We spent 2 weeks approximately preparing for this eventuality. And I'm not saying our system is perfect, but we're trying. The Rebbeim, the Moros, I salute them for what they're doing. I know there's been some complaints, and I appreciate it. We appreciate all your input, both positive and negative. We're trying to do the best we can under very trying circumstances. And we're going to overcome. We evaluate things on a daily basis and trying to make everybody happy. Not always easy. But the most difficult thing is that the children are around. They're bored. They're having difficult days also. They're not used to this type of life. And who knows where we're going? Is there going to be a shutdown or a lockdown? We don't know. By the way, I wouldn't obsessively follow the news. It can make you absolute cuckoo when you're busy just watching every day what they're saying about it. We'll all be stark and gesund. We have to be very healthy and very careful. I had a machshava. I want to share with you. I want to tell you a story. It goes back many years ago, over 20 years ago. A nephew of mine got married. At that time, his father, Rabbi Michael, and his wife lived in Stamford, Connecticut. My wife and I, and Chaim Eiserol, was about 4 years old. And we made a trip for Shabbos to Stamford, Connecticut, the President's Weekend. We left early, for me it was very early, about 4 or 5 hours before Shabbos. Yet, when we got onto the Connecticut Turnpike, suddenly, boom, a massive snowstorm. No cell phones, but we were all stuck. Cars weren't moving literally. We didn't know where to go. You're in a car 3 hours, people need to stop at a rest area. No rest areas, you're stuck. Sweating buckets, trying to figure out what to do. No one knew what to do. We're stuck. No phones, like I said. I pulled over exit 5, the Greenwich exit. I need to go to exit 8. About 8 minutes before Shabbos. Pulled up to a house. I knocked on the door. I said, she opened the door. I don't think she ever saw a Jew or a rabbi before. I said, it's our Shabbat. What? Shabbat? Where? What? Okay, I explained to her. And time is running away. My wife wants to light candles. Lichtsinden. And then she said, okay. She saw we were decent people. She took us into the house. Said, do you have 2 candles? So she brought out these 2 long purple candles, incense candles. My wife said, looked right there. And Shabbos came. Then we said to the lady over there, our stuff's in the car. We need it to change. We have to go to work. We explained to her we have a simcha. All right, just bring it in. I said, we really can't bring it in. Okay, there goes the lady schlepping my luggage. Very nice of me, right? Bring it into the house. Then we said, of course, we need to use the facilities. Oh, right there, no problem. But the light is off. Yeah, here's the switch. I said, I can't turn on the light. And then she turns on the light. We take turns, but then, excuse me, there's no toilet paper. That's a problem in the whole New York today. I don't know why it's a problem with just this thing, no toilet paper, but no toilet paper. She says, yeah, there is, but, la'alacha, maybe you can cut it on Shabbos. We explained to her we don't really cut, so she cut it up for us. This is a fascinating thing. There's a lady from South America, doesn't know what's going on, and she's being nice and helpful to us. Finally, we go, we get dressed. We shouldn't have gotten dressed. We ended up getting, fancy clothing, soaking later. But anyways, we're ready to leave the house, and I said to the lady, we thanked her profusely, and I said to the lady, maybe you can tell us how to go. We have to walk about it was about an hour and a half walk. And she said, yeah, here's a pen and paper. Write down where you're going. I said, I can't write on Shabbos. Aye. So she tells us where to go, and we started out on the trek. Yeah, he was a soldier. My wife and I are walking. We came into the yeshiva. We were soaking. What could they give us? My size clothing, forget about it. So, pair of socks we got. They found a little hotel nearby where we stayed. My son Maishi got stuck 4 hours walking away. Shani was expecting them, Baruch Hashem, and so we sent food over that night, and the next morning Maishi walked in. To make a long story short, we had a glorious Shabbos. Interestingly, there were 12 cars that set out, 4 from Lakewood, 8 from New York. 4 from New York made it. They started out even before us. The 4 from Lakewood, they called. They stopped. They asked the Shiloh, but the Rav said, Ben Hashmashas. So one of them, you should live in Lakewood. You get the Heter. The kids, one of them went by train. One of them went in the back of the truck, the bunker that the driver has. And they got there. Us poor guys are walking. But you know what? I look back. The great Shabbos that I had. That we all had. We were mice and nefesh in a way for Shabbos. That's not serious nefesh. When we came back at the Shabbos, by the way, I went up to the lady. I offered her some money. She said, oh, no. I begged her. Finally, she said, all right, I'll give it to my church. So I gave a $50 bill over 20 years ago, my first donation to a church. Okay, she was a wonderful Gentile lady, I must tell you. But I look back at those days, wow, what a Shabbos. One day, parents of the yeshiva, we're going to look back at this time where the strong get stronger, as I wrote in the letter, where we're going to be gewaldig. It's hard. The kids are jumping all over the house. We have no way of taking care of them, and it's impossible. We're scared. The elderly particularly are scared, and the young people are. We're nervous. But you know what? We're going to look back one day and say, look how we overcame. We overcame this difficult time in flying colors. We learned Torah. We have calls from parents. It's unbelievable the amount of Torah being learned in difficult, trying conditions. Financially, things are difficult right now. We're owed a fortune of money by the government and certain programs. We're not going to get it for a long time because they closed. We're going around, running around, borrowing money to pay the rebbeim and the teachers. And I know some of you out there, sure, problem with jobs and tuitions. It's a difficult time, but we're going to look back one day and we're going to say, I overcame. My kids grew. I grew. My wife grew. My husband grew. We all grew. We did wonderful, wonderful work. I need chizuk. We all need chizuk. Yeah, I'm sitting at night with Chassanim and Kalas. Which Kala doesn't dream her whole life but a beautiful wedding? And suddenly, boom. Backyard, front yard, 10 people, 20 people, 40 people. I'm going to a chuppah tonight. A backyard chuppah. The selected people. Bachar in the yeshiva, marrying a local girl. And you know what? They're smiling. Bar mitzvahs. I had a boy in yeshiva yesterday because this boy thought he wasn't going to lay on Shabbos. He says, 13 months I prepared Vayakel Pkudei. Nothing now. We made him a surprise. The other boys were all laying. I thought he wasn't going to lay in. The other boys of this week's bar mitzvah are going to lay in. I went to another mitzvah last night, and the kids are being wonderful. The kids are being fantastic. One boy came by the yeshiva. We give cake and balloons. We're trying to make them happy. I'm meeting tonight over the phone with another chassan kala from our neighborhood, just to give them chizuk. Imagine what they're going through. Imagine parents spend months and months and months preparing for a chasana. And chassan kala, imagine what they're thinking about. I'm trying to give them the little bit of chizuk that I can. Calls constantly from Talmidim out of town. The amount of emails, I told Mrs. Gordon today, the amount of emails that we've received in the last 3 years, it doesn't stop. Shailos, halacha, and chizuk, and things. People are going through hard times. Our hard times is that we have our kids home suddenly with us. That's the hardest thing. It's not easy. I'm not saying. There's grandparents in the house. You keep the kids away from the grandparents, which we should, l'chaira. And there's young and there's old. You're right. And there's a lack of, there's finances. It's hard. And I'm not mekana you. You know what? Smile. Because one day we're going to look back. And we're going to see in Mitzvah Hashem. We're going to see in Mitzvah Hashem how we help the sick and the elderly and the children. There are people in hospitals now around us. Hospitals with the disease. There's a family I know with so many sick people in that family. They're worrying from minute to minute. People are just, there's anxiety out there. I understand it. You know what? Let's say there's a Rebbe Shalom up there. Why he did this? We can't figure it out. I never ever try to give a reason. People used to say by Sandy, they said, how many ideas people had? Not for me. I'm too small a person. But I do one thing. He really cares about us. He's watching over us. And one day we'll figure it all out. But our attitude now is important. So we can look back one day and say, we overcame coronavirus. In good health, all of you. You and I and all our mishpacha should be gesund. You start for a longer, good, to realize how lucky we are. Shreinu Matei Chalkeinu, who have a wonderful Shabbos and Kol Tov.